All right, real talk. Gaming in 2025 is wild. You've got billion-dollar esports tournaments on one screen, and a guy in his pajamas screaming at his friends in Uno on another. One side's counting frames and optimizing DPS rotations. The other's vibing to lo-fi while fishing in Stardew Valley. And both? They're playing games. But here's where things get messy. Because sometimes those two worlds collide. You're just trying to relax after a long day, queue up for a casual match, and suddenly you're getting yelled at by someone who thinks this is the World Cup. Bro, relax. It's quick play. Now let me be clear, this isn't a hate video. This isn't sweaty tryhards versus casual noobs. This is about something deeper. Why do we game? Why does it feel like everyone has a different answer to that question? And most importantly, can we find middle ground? Let's start with the basics. Gaming for fun.
You know the vibe?
No pressure, no expectations, just good times. You log in to chill with friends, maybe blow off steam. Maybe it's your escape after 10 hours of work, school, or dealing with real life. You're not tracking KD ratios, you're not timing reloads. You're just here to enjoy the game. And that's okay, that's legit. Then there's gaming to win. The grinders, the strategists, the sweat lords in full control. These folks love the grind, they respect the craft. They're here to master mechanics, climb leaderboards, and feel the rush of a hard-fought victory. Also valid, also legit. Some people don't feel fun unless they're pushing themselves. For them, gaming is fun because it's hard. But here's the problem. We all share the same servers. And when a casual player ends up on a team with someone sweating bullets for a win streak, or when a competitive player sees a teammate goofing off or ignoring objectives, boom, that's where the tension starts. Why aren't you taking this seriously? Bro, it's just a game. It's ranked, try harder. I just want to relax, chill. Sound familiar? This clash of expectations is where most online toxicity is born. It's not always about skill, it's about intention. So what do? Should casuals stop queuing into competitive modes? Should tryhards tone it down in quick play?
Should everyone just mute each other and move on?
Nah, I think we need to zoom out a little. At the heart of it, games are shared spaces. Digital playgrounds where people from every background, every time zone, every mindset come together. And when you're in a shared space, there's one universal rule that makes things better for everyone. Respect. If you're a casual player, cool, be chill. But also try. You don't have to carry, but don't go AFK. Don't throw on purpose. Don't make it harder for the team just because you're not trying to win. Because guess what? There's someone on your team who is trying. And if you're a competitive player, breathe. You can push hard and still be kind. You can carry a game without being toxic. You don't have to scream at teammates to win. Some of us are rusty. Some are learning. Some just had a bad day. The best games I've ever played, they weren't just wins. They were moments. Laughing after a ridiculous fail, pulling off a comeback with random teammates, helping someone new figure things out. Those memories last longer than any leaderboard position ever will. So the next time you boot up your favorite game, ask yourself one question. Am I here to win or to have fun? And whichever one it is, just remember your teammate may be here for the opposite reason, and that's okay. In this match, my team picked two roams. They kept feeding, initiating unnecessary fights, diving the enemy even when outnumbered, and throwing blame around when they should have been focusing on the match. Cursing them out was an option. But what do you think would have happened after that? More tension, more tilt, and zero improvement. It would have just spiraled into a cursing match, making everyone resentful and less willing to put in any effort. In this situation, the only real answer was to focus on the game. I knew arguing would only get me agitated and lead to mistakes I could have avoided, so I stayed quiet and just did the best I could. I won't lie, most times this isn't enough. Most times you'll still end up losing the game. But that's life. You win some, you lose some. Understanding that some things are beyond your control is a necessary part of life. We can't control other people's actions, just like they can't control ours. Now don't get me wrong, no one's perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm some emotional guru who's mastered his feelings. That would be far from the truth. There are moments I rage and curse. There are days I get so pissed I stop trying and even troll. But afterward, I realize I gained nothing from it and still ended up losing a star. Now I focus more on my gameplay, not my teammates. As long as I'm satisfied with how I played, it doesn't really matter whether I win or lose. What matters is how well I performed, and what I can do better next time. I believe having a positive outlook is the only real way to enjoy the game, while still improving your skills. Right here, I realized the enemy was fully committed to pushing mid. I was hoping my team could hold them off long enough for me to pull off a backdoor win, but I was wrong. Instead, they kept charging in and dying, one after the other. Even now, Melissa was laughing like feeding was some kind of joke. I felt agitated, but I ignored it and stayed focused on my goal. I tried to push their inhibitor tower, but Gord was already there, waiting. Just like that, the entire plan fell apart. I tried to recall, but he wouldn't let me leave. My team had just respawned, but instead of defending the tower, they rushed in, again. Under-leveled and outnumbered, and as expected, they got wiped. This time I knew I couldn't stay. If I did, we'd lose the base. But Gord wasn't letting me recall, so I had to burn my ult just to race back and defend. Unfortunately for the enemy team, they failed to end the game when they had the chance. They were too busy enjoying the beatdown on my teammates to notice me creeping in. But by the time they realized, it was already too late. And I had no plans of leaving any survivors. Alpha slipped past me and Gatotkacha kept me distracted just long enough for him to escape. But I was compensated with Gord, who showed up thinking he could play hero and save his teammates only to meet the same fate as the rest at the hands of Sky Daddy. We went straight for the Lord, and just as expected, the enemy team came to contest it. Honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. I popped my ult and went straight for Brody. He tried to fight back, but let's be real. The Black Dragon isn't someone you can go toe-to-toe with. My team secured the Lord and jumped into the fight. Then I spotted an opening, a perfect chance to flank and cut off their escape. So I took it. Gord spotted me, but it was a tad too late. He dropped first. The rest of the enemy team quickly caught on. Gatotkacha and Alpha rushed in, probably hoping to redeem themselves after the embarrassment I served them earlier. But Sky Daddy doesn't hand out apologies. With my team's support, we wiped them out, and I secured a Maniac. At that point, I knew the game was ours. All the effort, the patience, and it finally paid off. I'm sure some of you are wondering, what kind of player am I? Well, the truth is, I'm a little bit of both. Most days I play to relax and have fun, but every now and then, winning becomes the only thing that matters. You could say I'm a chill guy with a competitive streak, but what about you guys? Are you in it just for fun, or do you play to win? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you've ever clashed with a sweaty teammate or got flamed for just chillin', drop your story in the comments. Let's talk, let's laugh, let's game better. And hey, whether you're fragging out or fishing in a pond, keep it fun.